On behalf of the Directorate of Visiting Research Professors Program and also the universal responsibility of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Foundation for Universal Responsibility, and on behalf of our Vice Chancellor and our Registrar from Goa University, I welcome all of you for this session for the programs on Nalanda education of the Dalai Lama Chair of Goa University. And I'm very happy to see that we have more than 50 registrations. I hope everyone turns up on time. So we are going to start now. So I request Dr. Anita to accompany Geshi Lagdor to the dais. Yes, please join me. Whoever would like to, please. It's for everyone. So Dr. Anita Kamath Dudhani is a physician who specializes in allergies and clinical immunology. I think those who are from Goa already know her a lot. We go to her for all our allergic problems. And she lives in Goa, and after her initial medical training in India, she's done her postgraduate studies in New York Medical College, receiving an MD and a PhD. She's also involved in various community projects like the Voluntary Health Association of Goa, which brings health to rural communities and is currently working on introducing social, emotional, and ethical learning in educational institutions of Goa. So a big hand for Dr. Dudhani. So we come to a brief introduction of today's speaker. Yeshi Lagdor. We are very happy to have him here. After the long break in the pandemic, we have been organizing this for the last 2 years, and finally we have succeeded. Before the next virus comes to Goa, he's come here. So, Yeshi Lagdor was born in Yakra in western Tibet in 1956, and he left Tibet in 1962 following the communist Chinese invasion of Tibet in 1959. Geshe received his novice monk ordination in 1964. He attended the Central School for Tibetans in Dalhousie, India from 1972 to 1976 and studied specialized Buddhist philosophy in the Institute of Buddhist Dialects in Dharamshala until 1986. From December 1986 to May 1989, he served as a translator and research assistant in Tibet House, the cultural center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in New Delhi. In August 1989, Geshe joined the office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where he served as religious assistant and translator and has accompanied His Holiness the Dalai Lama to over 30 countries in America, Europe, Australia, Africa, and Asia. Besides the Master of Prajnaparamita in 1982, he also received the Master of Madhyamika in 1989 and the Master of Philosophy MPhil from the University of Delhi. In 1995, he received Geshe degree from Drepung Losling Monastic University in South India. In 2008, he was also conferred honorary professorship by the University of Delhi Department of Psychology. Since 2005, he has been the director of the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives in Dharamshala after serving as His Holiness the Dalai Lama's official translator for 16 years. Geshe Lagdor has also co-translated and co-produced several books by His Holiness, including The Way to Freedom, The Joy of Living and Dying in Peace, Awakening the Mind, Enlightening the Heart, and Stages of Meditation, among others. Geshe Lagdor is a trustee of the Foundation for Universal Responsibility, established by His Holiness, director of the Central Archive of His Holiness, a member of the advisory board of the Institute of Tibetan Classics in Montreal, Canada, and honorary professor at the University of British Columbia, Canada. Today he would be speaking on the meaning of Dharma and how to practice and meditation. I welcome Deshe Lakdor to Goa University once again, and the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you for this invitation from the Goa University and the Foundation for Universal Responsibility of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in New Delhi, and the organizers, two brave ladies here and there. So it's my pleasure to be here. Although yesterday's flight was delayed by 3 hours, but in life is always bumpy. It's not only the coronavirus, but even otherwise, we need to accept the fact that life is not a free ride, right? But having difficulties and challenges and problems in life does not mean that it is 100% negative. It can be learning, it can be great teaching. Because normally, when your teacher or your guide or your parents give you suggestion to do this thing, not to do that thing, we don't listen. Then the leaders of the world also don't listen to the needs of the public. They think they can use their power and do anything they like. But we are all humbled down by this invisible thing called coronavirus. हम देख भी नहीं सकते उसको क्या है, लेकिन सब अपने घुटने पर टिकना पड़ा. We all have to bow down. That is reality. You cannot cheat reality. You cannot cheat nature. You cannot cheat law of causality. So we need to understand this. You cannot cheat change. You cannot cheat impermanence. These are the facts of life. Today there is a coronavirus. Tomorrow there will be something else, right? Like the Delta virus was one very much feared with its transmissibility, this, that, and so forth. That there's going to be a third wave in India, that it will be much worse than the second wave. It just disappeared, right? More or less. Yes, it created some problem, but it left more or less not a big issue. So now we have what they call as Omicron. Yeah, I thought oh my god or something like that. Okay, Omicron. So it may be talking about a little bit oh my god or something like that. Okay, so this one also, I mean, because of the media hype, in a way not necessarily bad, because unless we are warned and told repeatedly, हम लोग हिलता नहीं है आसन से. कुछ नहीं होगा मेरे, कुछ नहीं होगा, ये सब बकवास है, कुछ नहीं होगा. मरते दम तक ऐसा ही बोलते रहेगा, कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ नहीं होगा. फिर जब समय आ गया, फिर हाय हाय क्या करूं, क्योंकि अंदर खोखला है, अंदर कुछ भी नहीं है, सोच विचार करने कुछ भी नहीं है. So what this coronavirus taught us is, actually this coronavirus, when it came and when I saw how people are behaving, that reminded me teaching which was given by a Buddhist mind training teacher long time back, not now but relevant today. He said the problem the human beings face is we don't know how to live alone and also don't know how to live with others. It's a big statement. दो में से एक तो होना चाहिए आपको. या तो you should be able to live alone by yourself. You will be able to live alone by yourself when you have these inner resources of love, of compassion, of patience. When you have this, you can do that. Or you should know how to live harmoniously and nicely with others. I did not check the time, so okay. So this is the bitter truth, really. If we look at the origin of our life or how we came into this world, we came alone. कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए था कोरोना वायरस से, कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए था. We came into this world in such a fragile way that we came crying. रोते रोते आया, हंसते हंसते एक भी नहीं आया. मैंने कई जगह पर पूछा, ऐसे कुछ हुआ नमूना कि birth के बाद हंसना, right? So immediately after the birth, if the child laughs, then we'll say must be Avtar or must be a ghost, right? That's how we think. So my point is, we came crying in such a weak, fragile position that not only we came crying at the time of the birth, but for several months, even years. How many months it take for the child to lift the head? कितना महीना? 6 months. 3 months. 3 months तो हम सिर भी नहीं उठा सकते. क्योंकि because we brought this big head. Human beings have the biggest head relative to the physical size. Of course, there are others having bigger physical size and bigger head, but relative to the physical size, probably human beings have the biggest head. Biggest head means biggest brain. Biggest brain means biggest intelligence. Now, if we have so much intelligence, why we are having so much problem in the world? Because we use this brain, we use this intelligence in the wrong way for selfish purposes, not for peace, not for happiness, not for harmony, just for collecting material things. आजकल पूरा दुनिया भाग रहा है, दौड़ रहा है, भागदौड़ की जिंदगी बोलते हैं ना हम लोग. भागदौड़ की जिंदगी, everybody running, and everybody says, I'm so busy. As if to be busy is very important. Is it very important to be busy? Is it very important to be busy? I really don't think so. What is important is, what are you busy about? हम लोग क्या करते हैं? दौड़ 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 करके दिखाने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं है. For harmony, for peace, we hardly do anything. So running. अंगुलीमाला याद आ रहा है मुझे. Running. That's why we get tired. This is also taught in one Buddhist text, which says that if you keep on running outside, the natural result will be you will be completely tired. So that's what we are experiencing today. So we need to learn to go within oneself and find out the inner resources. These days I've been telling people that each of you are the only original copy in this world. That means you are special. Only tell me there is another copy similar to you. Even in the case of twins, there are some differences. So believe me, you are the only original copy. Only original copy means you have special capacity, special knowledge, special talent. The only thing is you don't appreciate what you have. You simply know how to run after others and think, how nice if I'm like him, I'm like her, That's how you get sick. That's how you get sick, you see. So therefore it is high time, having learned from this COVID pandemic experience, it is high time, start going within yourself. Explore your richness. First and the most important thing is love yourself. Be compassionate yourself. In Buddhism, we call this human life precious human life. Not in the sense that it's a gift given by somebody, some other religions believe in that. I respect that. But in Buddhism, we say, not because it's given by somebody, but because you have this great intelligence, this amazing intelligence. So we have the ways and means to deal with any problem, provided if you just don't sit there complaining and doing nothing, not protecting yourself. Now today, even within this pandemic, almost like half the population of the world refuse to take the precautions. And that's how we are all becoming vulnerable. And people don't believe in things even if it is evident. unless they themselves become sick. That's the problem. You see. That's the problem. So it's highly, highly important that we take good care, take rest, energize yourself. No need to worry. If you take the precautions, get yourself protected, then whatever is coming, no problem. And at the end of the day, in Buddhism we say, at the end of the day, it may be dead. So what? It is not how long you live. It is how you live, not how long you live. If you live properly, even one day, meaningfully, that's it. That's good. So therefore, there is a Buddhist prayer which says, if I'm going to die today, not living, okay, wonderful. Not in a pessimistic sense, but it says, wonderful, because I'm not going to continue to live in this world, creating problems on the planet, creating problems on the others. But this thinking is not pessimism or not suicidal, like many of us when we have problem, oh, I will commit myself suicide. No, not coward like that. But their reason is, if I'm not going to live, but going to die tonight, it's wonderful because I'm not going to live creating problem to others. In the same line, this teacher says, if I'm not going to die tonight, but going to live a long, long, long life, wonderful. Then I'll continue to live and continue to benefit others. So that means when your mental attitude is correct, whatever is there on your plate, it's fine, it's wonderful, it's amazing. Take the best out of it. You see? And the problem with us is we don't appreciate the good things that we have, the compassion that is surrounding with, the good people that are surrounding. You keep on highlighting the, problems, the difficulties, distancing yourself from others unnecessarily, no connectivity of love, of affection, you see. And all these 100,000 things that we are facing, the problems that we are facing, I'm 100% sure that they can be, tremendously minimized if we genuinely have that feeling of compassion and love to others. ये नहीं है हमारे पास. That's the problem. And in Buddhism, it is clearly stated that there's 100,000 different kind of problems that we have today is because of this self-cherishing attitude. सिर्फ मैं क्या होगा, मेरे रिश्तेदार को क्या होगा, वही बस छोटा सा दुनिया, उसी में आप खोज करके. And now it is scientifically proved that people who do that kind of narrow-minded thinking, who have this tunnel vision, they are prone to all kind of illnesses, including heart attack. आपका सोच विचार जो है बहुत छोटा है, tunnel vision. इसमें, if you see like this, you see only very few things, then it's intolerable. But if you compare and relate to others, yes, you have a problem, but it's not just you. There's so many others who are suffering. There's so many others who are in 100 times more deplorable and difficult situation than yourself. So when you think like, oh my God, I'm in that way, I'm quite lucky. You see, I mean, there are thousands of people who are staying in the poverty, slums in India. I'm not talking about other places. In India, how they are faring their life. What kind of facilities they have to fight with this pandemic? How they are surviving, you see. And those of us, it really amazes me actually, with this onslaught of this pandemic. It's amazing thing is, for me, I may be wrong, I'm not very well informed, but I may be wrong. But I really felt this idea. This pandemic primarily attacked the rich and the developed countries first. America में कितना हुआ? So-called the world's number one advanced developed country. European country, abhi bhi suffering, they are suffering much more than India. India, people were thinking, wow, India will not be able to cope. They will all die in 100,000. We did during the second, wave because of a little bit unpreparedness and divided attention. But, imagine, with such population, we are doing quite well. Why? How? So to me, this is really clearly showing, that mental preparedness is not there. Mental preparedness is not there. They have the external facilities, but the mental preparedness is not much there. So that also tells us that we should really mentally be prepared, develop these inner resources. So I'm glad that the Goa state is teaching this secular ethics and things like that. Okay, so this is a little bit opening the talk. So my talk is about the meaning of Dharma and how to practice. Meaning of Dharma. I decided to choose this topic. Of course, we have no time to speak in length, but I'll just give you a few lines. I decided to speak on this topic because the word Dharma, as we use in Sanskrit or Hindi, very often we equate it with the word religion, which I think is wrong. The English word religion has this heavy connotation of practice which is very heavily rooted in faith, unquestioning faith, which is not there, I think, in the Indic religion and when we use the word Dharma. Dharma, for me, also it has like in Abhidharma, there is a text called Abhidharma. I was told it has almost like 70 different connotations of word Dharma. But I read at least 10, 12 different meanings of Dharma in some of the Tibetan Buddhist texts. Dharma basically means the Sanskrit word Dharma, Dharan kare to Dharma, basically means something that holds your identity, something that maintains your identity. In that sense, everything that is visible, everything that is perceptible, this table, this glass of water, everything is Dharma in that sense, because everything that is existing, every phenomena holds its identity. So you are Dharma, I am Dharma in that sense. Okay? But when we talk about Dharma practice as a kind of spiritual practice, then in that sense also it is called maintaining the identity or holding the identity, primarily in the sense that by doing those practices, it will help you not to fall into wrong states, negative ways of life. Because it tells you not to engage in stealing or robbing or cheating or exploitation. So that way it will hold you up from falling down into narak or any other negative state of existence. So from that point of view, all the good things that you do will help protect you not to fall down. So if you are doing that, you call it a religious practice or no religious practice, you go to temple, not go to temple, it hardly make any difference. You are a good Dharma practitioner. I wanted to tell you this. Because many people get the wrong idea that only people who wear some of this kind of monks robes or the shaven head, they do Dharma practice. And मैं तो सन्यासी नहीं है, मैं तो गृहस्थी जीवन जी रहा है, मेरे से धर्म का प्रयास नहीं होगा बोलता है ना. This is discouraging yourself. There are people who are in the garbs of monks who don't do Dharma practice, truly, honestly speaking. Because unless you change your mind, you can't do any practice. So therefore, this word, Dharma, has been beautifully translated in Tibetan with a word called chö, which means not just change, but transform. That means through your way of thinking, through your speech, through your way of life, if you transform yourself from negative to the positive, not beneficial to the beneficial, then you are really protecting yourself. You are transforming yourself. That is the crux of the matter. There is no difference. There is not much, problem whether you call yourself a Buddhist or Hindu or following Islam or whatever religion you follow. These are just names, The important thing, the universal message is we should live harmoniously, helping each other, be loving, be compassionate, be patient, things like that. All these survival tactics that we need to adopt. This is not just for nirvana or enlightenment and all those invisible things, which we can talk about much later. But in our day-to-day life, I just give you one example. For example, you could do a test, for example, whether it's better to have patience or to be angry. You can do a short research and write a paper on that very easily. All of us have this experience of getting angry one or the other time, right? So you have that experience. Bring out those experiences. उस वक्त क्या हुआ जब आप गुस्सा था, अब आंख बबूला हो उठता था, फिर क्या हुआ आपका, आपका चेहरा कैसे था? Normally, we all want to be a presentable person, be a woman or be a man, अब टाई डालते हैं, सूट पहनते हैं, I have no hair, so I'm sorry, but those people who have hair, they comb their hair, put cosmetics and क्यों कर रहे हैं ये सारे, क्यों कर रहे हैं? So that you become a presentable, acceptable person in the society. Acceptability आपको चाहिए. You want to be a pro-social thing. But then see, after adorning yourself, after decorating yourself heavily, then next moment, and even putting gold earrings and things like that, after that you get angry like this. अब खूब सजा हुआ है, फिर आपका चेहरा देखो जब when you get angry, you are the most ugly ornamented person. Ugly ornamented person. I mean, this is so simple, the thing is we are not thinking. We are not trying to observe. Right? That's the thing. And when you get angry, you become ugly. So the question is, do you want to get ugly? If you want to get ugly, okay, then keep on getting angry. I think 2 or 3 years back, very, very interestingly, never expected, a group of 60 Iranians, business people, happened to come to Dharamsala. Business people, mostly CEOs, things like that. Then I don't know, somebody must have given my name. So that group invited me to give a half-day talk, including meditation and things like that. And then during the question hour period, there was a gentleman, he said, no, for me not to get angry is very difficult. I get angry and, immediately I just use my fist and hit other. That's all I have been doing so far. So what do you say? He asked me this question, very interesting question. मैं तो तुरंत गुस्सा हो जाता हूँ, फिर मुक्काबाजी करना मुझे पसंद आता है, बस वही कर देता हूँ. What do you say? Then I said, go on. I said, if you really think you're benefiting from that, who is going to stop that? Then I said, keep on doing that. If you think it's profitable. Then everybody started laughing. Profit नहीं होता है, कुछ भी नहीं होता, ठीक है ना? So you become ugly, you don't want to become ugly, right? First thing. Then your blood pressure increases. आजकल के ज़माने में तो हर कोई के पास blood pressure increase हो रहा है. Then as to add fuel to the fire, you get angry, you get more blood pressure. You want to increase your blood pressure? Ugly भी चाहिए, blood pressure भी increase होना चाहिए. फिर सबसे खतरनाक चीज़ सोच विचार जो है, the most important part of human quality, the capacity to think and judge, intelligence, that intelligence is then destroyed by anger. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, मैं तो गुस्से से पागल हो गया. You want to become pagal? You want to become crazy? You become crazy when you get angry. Crazy means, mad person means somebody who is yelling, who is not sure what he is saying, we call mad person. उसके बाद पागल है, इसके पास क्यों जा रहा है तू? We become exactly that. So next time you get angry, see whether you want to become mad or not. So think all this. There's 100,000 things. I was once reading a book published in America. Due to anger, billions of dollars are lost in a year. Billions in terms of wastage, because when you get angry, then there's a road rage and shooting and killing, there's something that you see all the time. Also very damaging for the country's economy and things like that. So I'm just pointing you few like important points. So it's not easy to stop it, but not being easy does not mean you cannot do it. Easy तो कुछ भी नहीं है, हर चीज में मुकाबला करना पड़ता है. But you can do it. Then you will be happier. Your peace, your happiness will not come from outside. बाहर से नहीं आने वाला है ये. Yes, you have every right to seek that help and support from your relatives, parents, things like that. But The most crucial important thing is you need to learn to cultivate that calmness and peace in your mind. Unless you do it, nobody can do that for you. I'm telling you. If you know how to do it, then even with a minimum of facilities, you will be at complete peace. You will be shocked by now because मेरे पास ये सब नहीं होने से कैसे खुशी हो सकता है, ऐसे सोचता है ना हम लोग. मुझे तो और ये मॉडर्न फैसिलिटी सब कुछ चाहिए, इसके बिना मैं जी नहीं सकता. कैसे जी नहीं सकता? पुराने ज़माने में सब लोग जीता था इसके बगैर. ठीक है ना? So therefore, don't see me as giving a lecture. Lecture is not so difficult, but I'm here to use one or two sentences so that you can take something and benefit it from there. If you do that, I will be also happy. Then this Goa University, others making a lot of expenses, inviting me is not wastage. है ना? मुझे ज़्यादा crowd भी नहीं चाहिए, no problem. If there are many people, okay. Not many people, it's okay. 3-4 आदमी होने से भी ठीक है. ठीक है ना? If you are able to see some benefit there, then take it, practice it, and also share it to others. Martin Luther King, he said, I don't feel sad when bad people do bad things. I feel sad when good people don't do anything. So we need to share this to other people, the good things that we can do. We can, in a sense, we can create nirvana here on this earth. If we know how to do, we can create nirvana here on this earth. Create कर सकता है, लेकिन करता नहीं है. Everybody is running outside. So that's the meaning of Dharma. Dharma also means law of nature. Dharma means law of nature. So for me to practice Dharma means to live in accordance with the law of nature. Now think carefully. Are we living in accordance with the law of nature? Are we? Are we protecting the nature or destroying the nature? Forget about external nature, internal nature. Your 4-5 elements that operate within you. These 4-5 elements that is there with you, the earth, water, fire, are they harmoniously functioning or not? Not. Because you are giving wrong food. So health and happiness means equal power of these 4-5 elements within yourself. So for that you need to live a life which can maintain this equilibrium, this harmony. नहीं होने से फिर अभी बुखार हो गया, फीवर चल रहा है. ठीक है ना? So it's in your hand. What you eat, what you do, where you go, how to live, right? So therefore it is. The Buddha, he said, I have shown you the path to liberation. Liberation is up to you. मैं आपका क्लास का अध्यापक हूँ. I am your class teacher. I can give you homework. But if you don't practice, you will fail. You will fail miserably. That's the truth. That's the truth. So as I said, when we came into this world alone, we are going to go alone. So why so much fuss in between? So at least in a day, remain in solitude for some time. At least 5-10 minutes in the morning, 5-10 minutes in the evening, and reflect a little bit. What is the purpose of human life? Just eating, sleeping, and going to the toilet? Or more than that? Little more than that. Really? Learn to be yourself. अब बहुत दौड़ लिया. ठीक है ना? There's another thing that I want you to test. So therefore, Dharma means law of nature. Doing Dharma practice means not chanting or mantra. That of course, if you feel like you can do, of course. But the most important thing is changing your mental attitude. And changing your mental attitude means living in accordance with the law of nature. अब law of nature में क्या है? Law of nature is interconnected, interrelated. We are all interconnected to each other. We are all interconnected to the environment. So, to whatever we are connected, dependent, we need to respect that. We need to live harmoniously with that. Otherwise, you won't get what you want. Right? And then, law of nature means change. Change is bound to come. In Buddhism, we call it impermanence. Change is bound to come, but change does not mean only death. Change also means the possibility to do many great things. Change means flexibility, adaptability. Right? So, seizing this nature of the law of nature, the possibilities to change, you should change not to the bad, but change towards the good side. For me, this is a very important thing that you need to understand. Living in accordance with the law of nature. Okay? That's one thing. Now, another thing that you need to understand is, this is from the Buddhist viewpoint, but I think you can use it in all religious practices. In Buddhism, we say the foundation or root of Dharma is whether you have a good mind or a bad mind. That's the foundation. If you have a negative mind, bad mind means wishing to harm others indirectly, directly. If you have that mind, then the very foundation of your Dharma is lost. आपके पास फाउंडेशन ही नहीं है. Whatever religion you follow, I don't care. फाउंडेशन आपके पास नहीं है. दिखावा के लिए हो सकता है. Foundation नहीं है आपके पास. So therefore, the foundation of Dharma practice is whether you have a good mind or bad mind, which means the foundation of Dharma practice is that you should have a good mind. Good or positive mind means mind willing to help others. Why? When we talk about helping others, we are not asking you to do a personal self-sacrifice, but as His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, if you want to be selfish, be wisely selfish. The more you are kind and nicer to others, the more you will get friends, the more you will be without fear. Much of the fear, suspicion that you experience is because you have no connectivity. You have no genuine connection to others. So it's because of your self-obsession, self-engrossment that you get all these fears and unhappy mental attitude. So therefore, the foundation is that you should try your best to be a good person. Good person means if you are able to help others, help them. Very important. If you are somehow unable to help, at least don't harm. If we practice this, I think it will change our life. No need to make a big talk, Just do that. If you are able to help others. Why should you help others? Why should you help others? If you ask me, why should you help others? I will ask you a similar question. Why you are helping yourself? Tell me why you are helping yourself. अब तक आपने आपका your age may be now 40 or 20, 30, whatever. Since so many years you have been looking after yourself. है ना, है कि नहीं है? बार बार आपका मुंह धो रहा है, शरीर धो रहा है, खाना खिला रहा है, अच्छा कपड़ा पहन रहा है, सब कुछ कर रहा है. क्यों कर रहा है? अगर कोई तुरंत आपके बिन बुलाए मेहमान बोलता है ना. Everybody says, I saw you, taking care of yourself during the last 40 years. Why are you taking care of yourself so much? अब क्या दोगे जवाब इसमें? What is your answer? Yes, you can give 100,000 different answers by saying, I take care of myself because I'm professor. I take care of myself because I'm very good looking man. 100,000 stupid answers you can give. But that is not, I think, not the right answer. The only right answer is, I take care of myself because I want happiness, do not suffering. है ना? है कि नहीं है? If that is your answer, yes, your answer is correct. If that is your genuine answer, then you should also help others because they also want happiness, do not want suffering. Then you will say, ये तो कुछ जवाब हुआ ही नहीं. Because I take care of myself, that's my responsibility. Taking care of others is their business, not my business. ऐसा सोचते हैं ना हम लोग. We think like this because we don't see any connection with other people. That's why you always think, मैं ही ऊपर चढ़ना है, बस बाकी नीचे रहो, ठीक है. You don't see the connection. So there the answer is, okay, because of the fact that you are different from that person, therefore you think there's no need for you to help others, then why your hand go down to help your leg when your leg is hurt? क्यों जा रहा है नीचे? Then you will say, because these two are connected. Yes, that's the answer. You should help others because you are all connected. They're different, yes, but we are connected. Right? So there are many, many logical reasons. But if you don't want to put all these complex logical reasons, it's okay, but use your common sense. As I said, just use your common sense and your day-to-day life experience. For a few days you keep on fighting with somebody. As a kind of Goa University students, research project or experience, For 1 week, just use all the harsh word to everybody you meet and fight, then see इसका result क्या है. Laboratory नहीं चाहिए, scientific instrument, complicated, कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. तुरंत आप देख सकते हैं. Then for another week, just be nice, loving and kind, and compassionate and help, see the result. Even though things are so evident, but we don't bother to pay attention to these important things. We bother to only get the material accumulations. और चाहिए, और चाहिए, और चाहिए, और चाहिए, और चाहिए. That's the problem. Yeah. So, the foundation of Dharma practice is to have a good mind. Then, when we say foundation of Dharma practice is to have a good mind, then everybody says, okay, then why these monks are spending like 20 years studying thick philosophical text? Because at the end of the day, it's only to be a good mind. People say things like that. But the problem is, you don't become a person with good mind like that. Training करना पड़ता है इसको थोड़ा. हमारा समाज इतना नहीं है अभी. We think we are intelligent. You may be professor. I respect that, but you are in a different direction. What I'm talking about, what these great teachers are talking about, is a different thing. That's why in today's world, whether you accept it or not, education means reading, writing, mathematics. With reading, writing, mathematics, you get a degree, get a job, then think education has served its purpose. There is no human flourishment. Now slowly people are thinking that this is not education. Education means human flourishment. So that's why nowadays the people are talking about 3H for education. Head, heart, ये तो चाहिए है, combination of head and heart. सिर्फ दिमाग नहीं, हार्ट भी होना चाहिए. सिर्फ हार्ट नहीं, दिमाग, नॉलेज भी होना चाहिए, दोनों. Plus hand should do something. Do something concrete in the society. Because you judge yourself by what you think you can do, but people judge you what you have done, not what you are thinking. Thinking to maybe, take my example, I've been thinking so many things for the last 30, 40 years. But I'm not able to execute many of these things. So people don't realize, So it's really not much talking, but doing. करके दिखाना चाहिए. The miracles of love and miracles of compassion. Actually, people are doing, but we are not able to show the force of their love and their compassion. Even in a big city like in Goa, in some of the big cities. For example, the nearest big city is like Panjim, right? From here. So what is the population of Panjim? 30,000. So let us say 30,000 population of Panjim. In today, how many killings will be there? Killing कितना होगा आज एक दिन में पंजिम में killing होगा? नहीं होगा ना. देखो, how many mothers are taking care of their kids? Thousands, just in Panjim. How many other compassionate people are helping? Again, hundreds and thousands. But we don't highlight that. We only highlight the small bad things, And then we start thinking, oh, now hopeless everything is. It's not like that. During the pandemic also, some of these frontline health workers, like they are like devas and devis, they're sacrificing their life and doing all these things. Really, compassion is there, love is there. Some of them really like superhuman. Hey, so we need to highlight that more and make the place proud by also doing certain things, right? So therefore, my second point is, since the root of Dharma is good mind, root of the Dharma is good mind, therefore, the door to Dharma is study. Door to Dharma is study. The second point, the door to Dharma is study. Because much of the problem, in fact, most of the problem that we are facing today is out of ignorance, comes out of ignorance. Ignorance is not just lack of knowledge, but misconception of reality, projections of your mind. ठीक है ना? So therefore, if you spend some time and study and know the depth of the reality, then you will be able to properly understand and develop that good mind that we spoke first. Now when you do the Dharma practice, the measure whether your Dharma practice is going in the right line, whether it's hitting the target or not, what is the measure? The measure is the more you do your Dharma practice, the more your greed is increasing, the more your egoism is increasing, the more your anger is increasing, the more your arrogance is increasing, then you are not doing Dharma practice. Then it's like medicine becoming poison. ऐसा भी बहुत सारा लोग हैं. Because unless you relate your knowledge to heart, then your knowledge will boost your arrogance. I'm a philosopher, I'm a teacher, ये लोग सब कुछ भी नहीं. We start thinking, we have this tendency because we have this ignorance, right? So therefore, the measure whether your Dharma practice is the right practice or not is whether you are reducing your attachment to this world or not. Attachment, I'm not talking about love, reducing love, I'm talking about attachment. There is a difference between love and attachment. You love other people because they are also like you, wanting happiness, do not want suffering, but they have enough suffering, they don't get much happiness, therefore you care about them, you extend your emotion, positive emotion, that's love. Thinking how nice if all these people, including birds, animals, how nice if they all meet with happiness. That's called loving kindness. Attachment means I love this person because she is my mother. I love this boy because he is my brother. Because she belongs to me. You are the center of the universe. Because those connected to me are important because of me. The clear reason how destructive this thinking is, that when you pick up a fight with the so-called very close member of your family, even your mother, if there is a quarrel, you will defend yourself. Mother ji, you are wrong. मैंने ऐसे थोड़ी बोला था, मैंने ऐसे थोड़ी किया था. अब गलत है, मैं ठीक है. Are we not doing that? That shows there is no love. There may be some love, but it's basically alloyed with attachment. So that's why our ordinary love I call it business love. I call it business love. You love me, I love you so long as you love me. Business nahi to kya hai? What is taught in Buddhism and hopefully in many other religions is also whether you love me or not, I love you. Love is not how many times you touch each other. Love is how many times you reach each other. Reach means mentally. Ordinary love, there's a lot of touching, hugging. Mentally, nothing. Business वाला कहीं भी सफलता नहीं होगा, love में भी और किसी चीज में भी, because you are trying to get some profit from there. That's the problem. At the end of the day, you also get stuck there. you also become a victim to that attachment. Attachment basically means getting stuck somewhere. Once His Holiness the Dalai Lama was giving example of that attachment to some monks. I was there as his interpreter. So he said, attachment is really like, your whole thing being pulled towards somebody. And I demonstrated by standing up, and normally in the class I get up and demonstrate it by saying that attachment is like this. If I'm attached to this table, then I'm already like this. ऐसा होने से फिर क्या हुआ? You lose your stability. अब थोड़ा सा यहाँ धक्का करने से भी मैं गिरने वाला है. Stability नहीं है, अब खींच गया उधर. That's maybe for your car, for your wife, for your husband, जो भी चीज़ हैं, you lose your stability. You want to fall? अब गिरना चाहोगे नहीं. That's the thing. So all these negative emotions, as I said, Dharma means transform your mind from negative to the positive. All these negative emotions, anger, jealousy, hatred. But the good news is, if you make an attempt, all these negative emotions can be eliminated, definitely reduced. Anger भी कम कर सकता है, attachment भी कम कर सकता है, सब कुछ कम कर सकता है, because you are, as and when you study and you see the uselessness of these negative emotions, you will be able to deal with it. कुछ क्षण के लिए, कुछ पल के लिए, the sensual pleasures for which the whole world is running today, they will give you peace and happiness for a short time, fleeting pleasure. If you just keep on running after this fleeting pleasure, you are not going to get that long-lasting happiness. The long-lasting happiness is to be cultivated from within your mind, not from outside. That's the point. These are important points. Please remember. तो अभी तक हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? The whole world is running only after sensual pleasures. ठीक है ना? So now we need to, change it a little bit and develop that inner happiness. That's another thing. So to do that, you need to reduce your obsession with too many things. Reduce your obsession to all these shiny gadgets, shiny people, whatever. ठीक है ना? And what is the essence of Dharma practice? The essence of Dharma practice is combination of head and heart. I use this word, head and heart. Dil or dimag ka santulan. Head and heart means you should develop loving kindness, compassion, as I have repeatedly said, but that development of love and compassion must be based on knowledge. ये बुद्धूराम वाला नहीं, मैं एक सबके प्रति कंपेशन है, लव है बोल करके, then everybody sit on your head and you become a doormat, है ना? अपने आप को भी डिफेंड नहीं कर सकता, ऐसा भी हो रहा है आजकल. Because of not getting the complete picture, complete teaching, many people are suffering like that also. The more humble, compassionate people are suffering because of that. Just before coming down here, I met the new Tibetan education minister who came to see me. So we were discussing about the sea learning and so many things. So I told her that one thing that's really important is we need to, teach ethics, values and secular ethics. But that must be taught with balance. That means the students to whom you teach these moral values like love and compassion, they should also be taught how to be firm and strong. And that will be there if you develop your intelligence also. कब हंसना चाहिए, कब नहीं हंसना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि compassionate है बोल करके सबके प्रति हाँ करके, then people will come and take advantage of you. I've seen that, I know that, So therefore, I'm not going to elaborate on it. Okay, there's the fourth point. So therefore, it is important to do Dharma practice properly. how it should be done. So I think time is just flying. There's not much time, right? Huh? There are many many things to say. बोलने के लिए बहुत है, लेकिन कौन बंधेगा बिल्ली की गले में घंटी? एक है ना, एक जोक है ना, एक स्टोरी है ना, छोटा सा स्टोरी. There was, there was a story of a group of rats continuously killed by a cat. Then the rats came together and had a meeting how to solve this problem. Then there was an intelligent rat who got up and said, "Oh, we should tie a bell on the neck of the cat." It was a very good, advice. But then said, "That is very good advice, but who will tie the bell?" So these are fine talkings, but who will do the practice? So I believe that some of you will do the practice, right? In short, in accordance with the Buddhist teaching, Dharma practice means active practice of non-violence. That's what the Buddha taught. Not just one Buddha, the countless Buddhas taught this. And in order to transcend suffering, you need to understand the meaning of shunyata, the shunyata, emptiness. So these two, practice of non-violence or active practice of compassion, which is non-violence is not just absence of violence, it's a dynamic practice of compassion, right? And that must be elevated by the practice of development of wisdom that sees the ultimate truth, shunyata. Om Soha Bhava Shuddh, Sarvadam Soha Bhava Shuddh. That Om Soha Bhava Shuddh means you are by nature pure, you don't have any independent concrete existence. Similarly, all phenomena, Sarva Dharma Soha Bhava Shuddh, all phenomena do not have any independent, intrinsic existence. So with that these two are the, in essence, the Dharma that is taught by the Buddha. Okay? So I'll stop here. There may be some interesting observations and cautions.
Any questions from the audience?
Any questions related to my talk, or even otherwise, don't take it as something very formal, Yes. And also don't expect I have all the answers, okay?
We say some people are by nature
Hmm.
introvert. They
Hmm.
love their own company, and there are others who are extrovert.
Hmm.
They feel uncomfortable when they do not have a company of others.
Hmm.
Now, in practice of dharma, now is it easy for the people who are introvert to practice dharma, or it is equally difficult for both?
It's relevant for both. Both has positive, qualities and also negative qualities. Because the English word, extrovert, introvert has a different meaning, right? So introvert basically means somebody who is inclined only within oneself, almost like narcissism, that's also not good, because you need to open up, you need to develop compassion, which means open up and show it to others. So how can you just remain isolated all the time, right? And then extrovert means, one who is under kokla, but then bahar dindora pitara, obi nahi, not that one also, right? So there should be a balance. But in the initial stage, it is important through practice, cultivate the inner qualities so that you become strong. And gradually, the more you become strong, the more you have the capacity to share it to others also. In the beginning, when you yourself is not very strong, if you mix with people, you will be carried by the flood. ठीक है ना? So that is
You
also.
start as introvert and then change to
I don't want to use the word introvert, but I would like to use the word that transforming your inner being is the most important thing in order to help others. Yeah.
Excuse, we may be asking, I may be asking some stupid question.
Yeah.
Please bear in mind.
Yeah.
Now, you said dharma is not religion,
Yes.
but dharma is religion.
Hmm.
Am I right? Dharma is not religion.
No.
Dharma is religion.
Yeah.
And And this dharma comes from dharma.
Mm.
And then you said dharma is law of nature.
Yeah,
Law of nature is a right thing,
Yeah.
universal thing.
yeah.
So dharma all over the universe is the same
Mm.
because it is law of nature.
Yeah,
Law of nature is the
yeah,
same.
in that sense, yes. When you write it in English, then the word dharma is, written with A, then they call it dharma. But it's basically dharma. These two are same. When you write it in English,
Dharma
then
is religion,
yes, of course.
but
No,
dharma is
here,
not
here,
religious.
here. No, here when I said dharma, let us talk about dharma. Dharma and dharma are same. So I said that in one sense, dharma has the connotation of everything that is there in the whole world, any phenomena, including table, in that sense. But when we talk about undertaking a spiritual, religious practice, then that the word dharma has a different meaning.
And then you said dharma.
Yeah.
You don't have to pray, you don't have to do
Absolutely.
let's see, count
Exactly.
the beads and all those
Exactly.
things. Dharma, you said to go from negative to positiveness.
Yeah.
Dharma is to help the people, help others,
Yes.
make others happy.
Yes.
So that is dharma.
Yes.
When they do anything good for others is dharma.
Yes, of course. 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah. You got the essence. That is most important word. Yeah.
You spoke about developing a good mind. So, what is the first step in developing a good mind and mental state? Because it's not so easy to develop it. And you suddenly one day you are always negative, and then one day you decide, okay, today I want to become positive. It's not that easy, right?
मैंने शुरू से ही बोला था,
Yeah.
not easy does not mean you cannot do it. And even getting food is not easy. अब छोड़ दोगे खाना? नहीं easy नहीं है बोल करके खाना छोड़ दोगे? नहीं. Because it is important. So therefore you try all your means, go to south, north, east, west to get your food and clothing in the house, Difficult तो है. अमेरिका भी जाने पड़ता है पढ़ाई के लिए, क्या क्या नहीं करना पड़ता है ना. That is only for the body more or less. ठीक है ना? So number one, what is important is to realize that not easy does not mean you cannot do it. It means you can do it. Right? Then secondly, doing dharma practice or spiritual practice or internal transformation is not a choice. It is a necessity. It is not a luxurious pursuit. If you have it, you will fare well. If you don't have it, you will not fare well in your life. However much material accumulation you will do, you are not going to have a smooth ride in your life. It's 100% sure, unless you have the right, proper mental outlook. So therefore, basically, yes, that change will not happen in one day, but change will happen. Change will happen. ठीक है ना?
What is the first step to this change?
So the first step, as I already demonstrated, like for example anger, I give you a lot of explanation. Start doing that. The first step is, we all have all kinds of negative emotions. Out of that, you should see which of these negative emotions has a predominant presence in you. बहुत सारा क्लेश है हमारे अंदर. इनमें से सबसे ज़्यादा आपको नुकसान करने वाला कौन है, उसको पहचानो. उसको पहचान के उनका जो शक्ति है, then the force of their negative emotion should be reduced. मतलब it's like fighting with your enemy. There may be many enemies, but you should fight with the foremost enemy. If you are able to do that, then others you can do it much easier. So that's the process. So you find out your weakest point of the negative emotions. उसको थोड़ा फिर आप मेहनत करके उसको reduce करो. Then you will shine out. Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste.
A lot of people talk about controlling the mind,
Mm.
and I tell the mind to do something,
Mm.
and then the mind will do it,
Mm.
or the mind then
Mm.
puts everything into action
Mm.
to get it done. If I don't tell the mind to do anything, and tell the mind to do things of its own,
Exactly.
does it do?
Yes, yes.
So, which means essentially that I am different and my mind is different. We're two different entities.
Yes, absolutely.
Two different entities.
Different, of course.
So wouldn't that create a kind of a clash
Yeah.
between what my mind does
Yeah.
and what I want to do?
Yeah. This is a good philosophical question. So mind and you are different. But when you talk about the controlling mind, you are using one mind to control another mind. So when you talk about mind, it's not just one concrete thing. There are so many like streams of water, so many kinds, right? So you use one part of your mind to control another part of your mind. And that can be done. In fact, let me quote a teaching from Tsongkhapa's very famous text called Stages of Path. There, on the section on meditation, he says, you are controlled by your mind. That we all accept, that's true. Because it's your mind says, this Guruji talking too much, let us go. Your mind says, and you will go. शरीर बेचारा कुछ भी नहीं, मन उसको डिक्टेट कर रहा है ना? जाओ बोलने से जाएगा, बैठो बोलने से बैठेगा. You know, it's the mind which is, that's sure. So you are controlled by your mind. That's not a big problem. The problem is you are controlled by your mind. Your mind is predominantly, I'm trying to be very nice, I'm not saying completely. Your mind is predominantly controlled by negative emotions. That's the problem. Because your mind is predominantly controlled by negative emotions, therefore you are having all these problems, sufferings. Therefore now realize that fact and try to make your mind predominantly, if not completely, predominantly controlled by the positive mind. It's really like electing your prime minister or your chief minister, whoever. If you elect the wrong one, then at least for 5 years you are doomed. कुछ नहीं कर सकेगा because इनके पास पावर है, आपके पास कुछ भी नहीं. अब छोटा छोटा कुछ लिखेंगे, कुछ करेंगे, कुछ भी नहीं होगा. Right? So before you elect, you think carefully. So when you talk about transforming your mind, you are electing a positive mind, enthroning a positive mind and dethroning a negative mind. This is your personal choice. You have to do it. The good thing in this election is you are the one who is really doing the choice. You don't have to involve many people. Right? So right now, according to Buddhist teaching, you have selected the negative mind, selfishness, ignorance. They are controlling you, dictating you to do these things, do that thing. So now you have seen the destructiveness of this, new leaders. So now let us dethrone them. Inko gadi se hata do. And elect wisdom, elect loving kindness, elect compassion. They will then direct your life. Then you will be fine. So therefore, oneself is controlled by one's mind. One's mind is controlled by negative emotions. Therefore, we are suffering. Therefore, now we should make our mind more compassionate, more loving, having more wisdom. That's called Dharma practice. That is called meditation also. I said I'll say a few words on meditation. Meditation is not sitting in a corner and closing your eye, predominantly. You can do that. But meditation basically means habituation. Habituation means making your mind habituated with the positive ways of life and positive ways of thinking. Right now your mind is habituated with negative ways of thinking, therefore you are suffering. Now you make your mind habituated. Habituated means you have to make it become a habit. And to form this habit, you have to make some effort. It will not become automatically. So that is the meaning of meditation. Done that, you're a good meditator. If you have not done that, you sit in a nice, observe all the nice postures and, मैं एक कहानी बताऊंगा. At the time of the Buddha, there was a great Indian meditator called Udrak. His one-pointed meditation it is said that his one-pointed meditation was so good that he just sits in his cave for many months on, and his hair starts growing and flowing all the way, and goes to on the floor, still oblivious what is happening. And his cave was infested with rats, and the rats started chewing off the end of his hair, still oblivious. So his one-pointed meditation was very good. But when he woke up or, got up from the meditation and saw that ends of his hair has been chopped by the rats, he got crazy. He become very angry to the rats. That means his negative emotion is still there, because he did that time he is not using wisdom. He's using only one point in meditation. Right? Okay. So getting habituated. Now with this, question of getting habituated, the good news again. I'm telling you, many good news. The good news is training the mind is such a wonderful thing that you can train your mind to almost limitless state. I can say sky is the limit. It's not like training your body. I mean, look at some of these world, Olympians. Let us say the person who is the gold medalist in long jump, the world's gold medalist in long jump. He may be the world's number one. He may still continue to practice doing the long jump again. He may able to make a little bit more progress, right? But there never will be, it is assured that there never will be time when we can say that this man is so good in long jump, these days he is jumping from one mountain to another mountain. ये हो ही नहीं सकता. हो ही नहीं सकता, because the basis of training is physical. You boil water, it will become hotter and hotter than 100 degrees centigrade boiling point. Still you keep on boiling, what happens? It will change into vapor, it will not become hotter. So anything that is physical is like that. But unlike the physical, material thing, in the case of the mind, the more you training, Einstein did not say, my mind stopped functioning. He is said to be the greatest scientist, but he said, I was able to use my brain like, what, 5% or 8%? Maybe, he said maybe 5%. I could not use more than that. And if I was able to use a little bit more than that, I can do all the miracles in the world. That's what he said. So we are not using. We are in that sense, you're right, we are extroverts, really, in that sense. क्योंकि because we believe in corporeal things, आंखों के देखने के लिए भी कुछ चाहिए, सूंघने के लिए भी कुछ चाहिए, सुनने के लिए कुछ भी चाहिए, खाने के लिए कुछ चाहिए. Then all these markets came into being, knowing your weakness. तो हम उसी में already we are weak towards sensual objects. Then externally all these attractions are created, but then your life you will end going visiting the mall again and again, soon, right? And then you suffer from what is called shopping coma. There. Really, it's like that. You see. So therefore, especially because of today's situation, the speed of technology. There may be many commendable things, I must say, but the speed is dangerous. Today, I don't know. Like for example, I think whether Indian population, like even 80%, 90, I think even 90%. I don't know how much they are able to use all these technological facilities. Right? It's only for a small group of people. It's not benefiting majority. ये आपके सबके खाते में ये इतना पैसा डाल दिया, उनको पता भी नहीं कुछ भी. So anyway, this little bit digression, right? Okay, so we have done with time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm confused about what is meditation. Because whenever I sit and try to meditate,
Yeah.
I have 150 things coming to my head.
Yes.
Like I have to do this, I have to do this,
Yes.
I have to do this, after this. So I've never succeeded.
Yes.
So, I mean, what is the actual feeling that you get?
Yes.
That's all.
There is a story of one Indian who was dying to learn the art of meditation. So he said, from whom I should learn really the good part of meditation. Then somebody suggested, in Tibet there's a great master, go there. So he searched, this is a story. So he searched and then finally met their Tibetan teacher, and he said, please teach me meditation. He said, it's very easy, nothing but to teach. He said, please teach me. He said, okay, go back your home, you do one thing, don't think about monkey. Only that. Then he said, "Ye kya bakwas kar raha hai?" He was also a learned man. And he said, I'm such a scholar, why should I think about monkey? Anyway, the teacher said you do only that. So he went back, and finally, the only thing that kept on coming in his mind was monkey. This is our, the interesting nature. When it's almost the mind of a small kid. बच्चों का उसको मत खाओ मत करने बोलने से वही करता है ना, उसी तरह हमारे पास भी वो आदत है. One Western nun came to me one day and she said, Geshe-la, before I started doing the Buddhist Dharma practice, I was a nice person. After I started doing, I became a bad person, especially meditation. Then I said, how? Then I said, before I started meditation, all these bad thinkings are not coming in my mind. But now I do the meditation, all these thoughts are coming in my mind. Then I said, this is a good sign. वो पहले से भी आ रहा था, लेकिन उस वक्त आपने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया. आपका, your doors and windows of your mind are 24 hours open. कौन गुस्सा हो, ये आओ, कोई परवाह नहीं आपको, ये तो हमारा मेहमान है, आते जाते रहता है. That kind of attitude. Now at least you are paying who is seeing, who is coming, who is not coming. It's a very good start. So with that, now you need to tell them, the bad ones coming, no. अब नहीं आना दोबारा. पहरेदार रखो, mindfulness, conscientiousness, these are your sentries, guardians, उनको बोलो कि देखो कौन आ रहा है. एंगर को मत आने देना, जेलसी को मत आने देना. कंपेशन आ रहा है तो उसको अंदर भेजो. पेशेंस आ रहा है तो अंदर भेजो. So that's how you do, you see. So that's a good thing. But when you do one-pointed meditation, then again all these things will come. But then, for example, if your one-pointed meditation is on, say, on a flower, then whatever is coming, say no. Good, even good ones, say no. Because this time, I'm not thinking about you, I'm thinking about flower. So just try to, think about the flower. In the initial stage, the complete, features, details of the flower may not be clear, but don't force yourself. If you just get a almost like shimmering kind of color or whatever of the flower, general picture, then gradually when your meditation becomes stronger, then go for more details. Right? Okay. Yeah.
This is about the terminology Dharma,
Hmm.
which creates an enormous amount of confusion all over the world. Because normally when people think of Dharma, they think in the sense Christian religion, Judaism or Islam. So similarly people will say the Buddhist religion means Buddha Dharma. Now Buddha himself used the Pali word Dhammo.
Yeah.
Now can we have a system in which Dhamma, we keep the what Buddha meant by Dhamma, that is the nature of things, and let other people misinterpret other terms like religion, dharma and other things, but Pali, can we keep the original word Dhamma
Exactly.
to mean only the Dharma?
Yes.
Because it is also similar to the Chinese, the Chinese they say Dhammo. Dhammo means actually Dhammo. So can we have a difference in meaning between the Sanskrit term Dharma and Pali term Dhammo?
Yes, same. True. That's what I'm trying to say. Whether you use word Dhammo or Dharma, we should understand the meaning of those terms, not in the sense of religion, which is centered in unquestioning faith. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Would it be possible to remain unattached to the mind and body?
Hmm?
Would it be possible for a human being to remain unattached to the way mind thinks? Possible to unattach to the way the body is?
Yes.
The mind and body will take its own course of action.
Yeah.
Mind, body will reach its destination.
Yeah.
Mind also will reach its
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Is it possible for us to remain unattached to all this?
Yes, of course. That is why we are talking about doing Dharma practice. Because attachment to anything, especially to your psychophysical aggregate, is the source of the greatest problem. So reduce attachment. Now, reducing attachment does not mean you should not take care of yourself. That is the fine line. Some people, they think, to have no attachment means don't care. That's stupid. Because you are, if you are going to benefit many other people, then you become all the more important. If you are living just for yourself, you are important, but not that important. But if you are living for many other people, then you are lucky also. ठीक है ना? You are also lucky. Like that's why I always say, if you have very, loving family, father, mother, brothers, they may be living in some other place, you are living in some other place, then one of your most important duty is to take care of yourself so that your relatives and friends will be really happy. उनको कुछ भी चिंता नहीं होगा ना, if you take good care of yourself. Now if you don't take care of yourself, still if you say I love mommy and things like that, you are not loving in the true sense of the term. ठीक है ना? So therefore, having no attachment, actually when you have attachment, you don't take care of yourself, unfortunately. For example, if you attach to drinking, attach to smoking, you're not taking care of yourself. You're destroying yourself. Similarly, getting addicted to many things, varieties of food, ice cream, whatever, chili or, whatever. Anything that is destructive to your happiness, to your well-being, that is unhealthy. That's not good way of taking care of yourself. So that's why, normally, your question was perfect timing, because I think this will be the last question. So normally I, tell people that ordinarily when we meet our friends and then we part our ways, then we say, bye, take care. बोलता है कि नहीं बोलता है? We don't say, bye, I will take care of you. कोई भी नहीं बोल रहा है ना, वो कर भी नहीं सकता है ना. That's why it's common sense. I mean, that's exactly what the Buddha said. Self is the protector of the self, no one else can be the protector. Self is the enemy of the self, no one else can be the enemy. You become victimized because you are giving others opportunity to victimize you. You are complying with other people's wrongdoings. That's why you become a victim. Right? So therefore, bye, take care.